Hello, everyone. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and today on our program, in our first segment, we are shining the spotlight on a young lady who is she's got it going on. Her name is Rita Jefferson, and she's the president of the Philadelphia Bar, Tavern, and Merchants Association. And she'll say the name completely when she starts talking, because I just messed it up. But she is certainly representing a fine organization that is committed to making a difference. Outside of what they do in business, they still think about the community and giving back. So we will talk about what they do with Rita Jefferson in just a little bit. And in our second segment, Dr. Donnie's going to join me up here on set. We're going to be talking some health issues. We're also going to do a little follow-up on our girls' chat with Grown Women Talk from a couple of weeks ago. So stay along for the ride. We'll be back with our first guest in a moment. And we're back. Here we go with this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling. The organization that I am shining the spotlight on today is called the Philadelphia Licensed Tavern and Merchants Association. And the president of that body sits by my side right now, Rita Jefferson, my girlfriend. How are you?
Hello, Thera. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you. And you were looking so fabulous, just a week ago, as you presided over a fabulous evening banquet awards program scholarship presentation at the Regal Ballroom up in the northeast section of Philadelphia. It was a wonderful evening.
Well, I thank you for coming, and you were such a fantastic hostess.
But listen, the thing that amazed me, because I mean, for me, I think this was my favorite event of all of them that I've had an opportunity to be a part of over the years. This one I think was the best. And it was just a different atmosphere. It was just a lot of love in the room, which I felt that before. I don't know if it was the setting, the location that made the difference, because you have been to all of the best places in town to have your event, from the Crystal Tea Room down in the Wanamaker Building to out in South Philadelphia, some of the venues out there. You've been all over town, but I love the Regal Ballroom. I was really pleasantly surprised with that.
Well, the Regal Ballroom is a fantastic venue. It was centrally located. It was accessible.
To find.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, parking wasn't a problem. And they gave us a fantastic venue and ideas to put forth.
Now, for people who don't know, they're saying, Philadelphia Licensed Tavern and Merchants Association, well, who's that group? For people who don't know. Now, I know there's some people who are viewing the program who know about your group, who know what you do, know about the history. But for those who are drawing a blank right now, let's tell them.
Well, the Philadelphia Licensed Tavern and Merchants Association is exactly what it is. We are licensees in Philadelphia. And our organization is about, basically, we're urban oriented. We have come together to party with a purpose. And when we party with a purpose, we raise money for children in the community, sometimes family in need, and we get together and we discuss strategies and things of that nature.
Well, now, one of the things that I think back over the history, and help me name some names now, some of the old guys from back in the day who got this organization started, such as Prince Gilliard.
Yes, in 1984, it was one of the first ones that I attended. Prince Gilliard was a part of that organization. And I'm sure maybe some of your audience might be familiar with the name Sid Booker.
Yes.
Sid Booker, Lorraine
he has
Taylor.
Stinger LaPointe. He owns Stinger LaPointe.
He's still in business.
And Prince Gilliard used to own a nightclub called Princess Total Experience Lounge.
Yes, yes, he has.
And then the gentleman, the Bynums, Mr. Bynum, he used to own Impulse Club.
Correct.
At
Impulse.
Germantown
and
Erie. Yes.
And now he's still in business, and he has Warm Daddies.
Right.
And his son has the club Relish.
Yeah.
Yes, they're part of our organization.
But so
too.
we're naming the names of some of the originals who started this organization years ago, and they're bar owners, they're nightclub owners, they're restaurant owners in some cases. They're business people. And yes, the settings where they do their business are party settings, you know, where there's alcoholic beverages and oftentimes food involved and people having a good time. But what I love about your organization is that you all have been there when families have had fires
Absolutely.
and lost everything.
Absolutely.
And it's been the Philadelphia Licensed Tavern and Merchants Association that stepped up and said, making a contribution. Certainly you all have been there every year of all of the years that you've been in existence with scholarships for poor kids to help them with some of their bills related to college. $1,000 scholarship is nothing to blink at nowadays.
You're correct. We try to reach out to students in our community who don't get the opportunity. The straight A students are going to get the scholarship, but we want some of the students that might not be that grade A student. So we reach out to those. We have our workers, our staff, our bartenders, our customers. So we put forth together a scholarship program for those family members that can come by and maybe fill them out and give them the opportunity to excel. So that's one of the things that I really like about this organization, you know, and I'm proud to be a part of it, yes.
And on a more serious note with your organization, yes, you all do party with a purpose, but you all do some serious things too, get the networking and their strength in numbers. So if some legislators decide to say, well, we're gonna tax bar owners, you know, buy the drink to, you know, help with whatever the emergency might be with our city or with our state.
Yes.
But that's when it's important to have organizations so that you all can stand up and speak for yourselves, and you may or may not win the fight, but at least you can speak up as a body, as a recognized organization that's been around since 1984, and say something, and somebody's going to listen.
Yes, and also, our industry, we have sales representatives from different companies, from alcohol beverages to soft drinks to the wine and spirit industry. And at one time, you didn't see any of us there. So we fought hard against that. And as you know, you were there. You saw some of the young people that we recognized. Rosin Rodriguez, she was one that we recognized. And if it wasn't for us, a person like her wouldn't have had that job. You know, so I'm proud of that too.
And just so that we'll be real clear and our viewers will be real clear, what Rita Jefferson, the president of this organization, is saying is that there was a time, like with many other industries, there was a time when African Americans could not be drivers on Greyhound buses. Correct. There was a time when African Americans couldn't ride on a bus, or you had to ride at the back of the bus. You know, things have changed over time, but some things people will be surprised just more recently have changed, where you'll see opportunities for different people to be involved with certain industries that historically prior to that was just like one type of person was allowed to be in those opportunities.
You're absolutely right. So, you know, like I was saying, we're quite proud of that, you know, to see the more diversity in the organization.
Yes.
And the sales representation
Very
too.
good, very good. Well, you all seem to always get strong support when you do your events, and I take particular pleasure in looking around the room and trying to name the names, because the tables have names on them from the various bars or nightclubs or restaurants or other businesses that support what your organization does. And I think that's a very good thing. Have some groups been with you all along and others who've fallen off and some who've come back?
Yes, that you're absolutely right. Some have come back, and this was one of the years that a lot of them have come back this year, because for a couple of years we were dormant for a while. I moved on. I'm also the national vice president. It's called National Consolidated Beverage Association. And I was feeling a little sad the way I saw things going. And Mr. Prince Gilliard, who's our former president and president emeritus, is still around. So I couldn't let his legacy just go by the wayside.
Now, Mr. Gilliard is about what, 80?
He's 84 years old.
84 years old, still just as distinguished as ever. A gentleman who has owned several nightclubs and bars over the years, not just Prince's Toll Experience Lounge, but also someone who went all the way up to the highest ranks in the Masons organization.
Absolutely.
Also someone who has been a member of White Rock Baptist Church in West Philadelphia forever, where Reverend Shaw is the senior pastor. And so he is just distinguished. And yet at the same time, he knows how to balance being a Mason and being a church man and being a bar owner and being a good citizen all at the same time.
That you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He's one of the, he's fantastic, you know, he's fantastic. And if you also notice, we had Miss Ethel Ingram, one of the few women that's in our industry. She's been in the industry almost 40 years. She's owned several clubs. So I wanted her to smell her roses while she's still here. So we honored her this week too.
And to some of those who've gone on and no longer with us, like Lorraine Taylor, who used to own the famous Checkers Club on Ridge Avenue in North Philadelphia, where Mary Mason used to go and hang all the time. I used to hear the stories about the Checkers Club, and several others that are no longer with us, but who cut a pathway so that the younger bar owners like yourself today could survive. Real quick before we run out of time, you are a bar owner, your family bar, you all are in North Philadelphia, Logan
we
area?
call it Nicetown.
Nicetown?
Nicetown. We're located in Nicetown. Yes, we are. We've been in business 30 years, since 1984. And
Reflections.
The Reflections Cafe. And as we say, we keep the nice in Nicetown, that Reflections Cafe.
I love that. And it's the 16th and Wingo-Hocking.
Yes, 1640 West Wingo-Hocking Street.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I applaud you again on your commitment to make for sure that this organization, the Philadelphia Licensed Tavern and Merchants Association, continues to thrive, that you didn't let it die when things got quiet and it looked like everybody else of the bar owners and tavern owners or whatever, everybody's tired or whatever, and just said, but that you brought it back to life because it's important. There's young people like an Amanda Keaton and others who are beneficiaries of the money that's raised when your body comes together and does your scholarship banquet and sells tickets to encourage people to support our youth. That's so important.
Well, I thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again next year.
I'm looking forward to it. And even before next year comes, I'm told that in April of 2015, the Philadelphia
Legends Ball
group will be doing what?
A Legends Ball.
Legends.
Yes.
And that'll be in Philly.
That'll be in Philadelphia.
And the Detroit people are coming.
Yes.
And the New York people are coming.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
and people from all over
Yes.
are coming back into Philly to celebrate with us.
Yes, yes.
I love it, I love it. The date yet? You have your date locked down?
No, the date is pending right now.
All right, well, let us know, and we'll have to, talk about it here at News You Can Use when we
Okay.
come into 2015.
Okay, thank you, dear.
I applaud you again for the great work that you're doing and your commitment, for your passion and making things happen. And I wish the organization all the best as you all go forward. You got new leadership team with you at the helm. I think you're all going to do a great job.
Okay, thank you.
All
Thank
right, we'll see you next time. Okay. And I did want to mention, to be very clear, that one of our outstanding LaSalle University students who's a part of making this show happen every time we come into the studio, Amanda Keaton, she is the family member of Rita Jefferson, and she is the recipient of one of the scholarships that they've given out in past years. And we are applauding Amanda Keaton and all the young people that we see at LaSalle University because they are going for the stars. They are reaching for their dreams, and their dreams will become a reality. So we're excited about that. Thank you again. And for the Philadelphia Licensed Tavern and Merchants Association, keep on doing what you're doing. We'll be back in a moment. Dr. Donnie is going to join us up here in our seat, and we're going to talk about some health issues that are pressing of the moment. And we're going to do a little review on our women's show, because Dr. Donnie and I, we came up with that concept together, and just from the time we taped it and getting it on the air, more things have happened with our young girls that we want to talk about. So stay along. We'll be back in a moment.
Cyberbullying comes in many forms and can happen 24/7. If you or someone you know is a victim of cyberbullying, take preventative and assertive action. Keep evidence and document all instances. Remember to record dates, times, descriptions, and also save and print screenshots. block your cyberbully and present your evidence to school officials or law enforcement. No one deserves to be a victim of cyberbullying, and together we can end it. For more information, visit stopbullying.com.
I didn't think this could happen to me.
I just wanted to feel pretty.
I just put my drink down for a second.
I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to fight back.
Hello, everyone. We continue now with this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and my co-host sits by my side right now, Dr. Donnie Patterson from Einstein Medical Center. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So now, real quick, before we go to the health stuff that I know is always important to share with our community, look back at that program that we recently taped where we had our 4 women up here and we were talking about how we see our young ladies and sharing our perspectives on sort of what's going on with young girls today. And right after we taped the show, it must have been about 3 days later, and the show had just started airing, and I'm watching the 6 o'clock news, and they're talking about a young girl, teenager,
Right.
who was planning and had details in a copybook, notes about how she was going to kill teachers and some classmates who had upset her. And on the show that we taped, I was saying how, well, in the history of the United States, to the best of my knowledge, this has never happened with a young lady being involved with it. It's always the guys that are the shooters at high schools and stuff. And then a few days later, everything changes. So I just wanted to update our viewing audience to that. Yes, we heard about that.
Well, I'm glad that she didn't
Get
execute
to do it.
And, you know, depression is very common in teens. So we had mentioned on the show that males are more likely to carry out an aggressive act of violence, but that's coming more common in women as well. So if we find our neighbor, our friend, our daughter, our sister that is depressed, we encourage people to get involved, at least, you know, try to get them some help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that we did not touch on at all, and after the taping of the show, and I got home and I was sort of reliving the show in my head, I'm thinking, oh gosh, we didn't talk about this, we didn't talk about that, and we should have. These television shows, and largely I'm thinking of the reality shows such as the Housewives of Atlanta and Housewives of New Jersey and the Basketball Wives, and these shows where women who at first look, or at first glance on the show, you look and say, wow, their hair is done, their makeup, the jewelry, they're wearing, you know, designer clothes, they look so sharp in some cases. And then they act like total alley cats, fighting each other and jumping across tables at lunch and grabbing their friend by the neck. And so our young girls are seeing this stuff.
Right. I emphasize to my daughters and to my patients that is not real. They call it reality, but that's not the real
how
reality.
many girlfriends act like that in real life, right?
Yes, that's not
Goodness.
real. That's televised, and maybe they do that in very small circles here and there, but that's not real. That is for TV. That's why shows like Maury Povich or whatever, I don't even know the names of them. That's why those shows thrive, because they're feeding on people's, you know, sensationalism, and that's not real. We have to teach our daughters that, you know, a lot of that is airbrushed, a lot of those, you know, aren't real body parts, and that the actions aren't real.
Well, overall, as I settled down from that show, because that was just a different kind of a show for us to do here at LaSalle, I appreciated the opportunity of our executive producer, Tanya Ellis, allowing us to do the show and sort of says, all right, I'm going to go with your vision there.
Thank you,
letting us do
Tanya.
it, right? Thank you, Tanya. But when I actually saw the show, Dr. Donnie, I was pleased.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Dr. Donnie and I and our other 2 lady friends who were on this show, I think we said some things that were pretty important. I thought it was a great show. At the end of the day, when I look back at it, it's like when you're participating and you're a part of something, sometimes I'm not clear on how good it was,
How
or
effective.
if I put the message out there that we really wanted to reach. That show was a good show. I'm proud of it. And I just wanted to add the addendum. Things have changed since we taped them. We only taped about 3.5 weeks ago, so it's crazy.
right.
That's life. It's life. The world keeps spinning around, right? Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on that we may have missed on the show that you want to throw out there now?
Sure. So November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And, you know, I always want the opportunity to encourage people to stop smoking. You can do it. We can set quit dates for Thanksgiving, but you can do it.
I went cold turkey.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
But there's also, for the first time, there's a lung cancer screening. And, you know, we get mammograms, we get pap smears, which are screening for cancer.
Yes.
But we never in the U.S. had a way to screen for lung cancer, an efficient way, because a chest x-ray doesn't just pick it up. Now you can do a CAT scan. And it's not painful, it's very quick, it probably takes, you know, a couple of minutes, and you can screen for lung cancer. And the nice thing, if there's a nice thing, about this screening program is that it's free. And so if you go through Einstein, you don't have to pay a copay, you don't have to go through your insurance, and you can get your results within, you know, like one day.
To find out if you have lung cancer.
Find out if you have lung cancer, or find out if you don't have lung cancer. So it's very important. So if you're a male or a female and you're between the ages of 55 and 79, you've smoked, you know, for 20, 30 years, and you're a current smoker or even have quit within the last 15 years, you're eligible for the free CAT scan. And I want to encourage people to get it done, because just like any other screening program, if you catch it early, then there's so many things that we can do to save your lives as opposed to letting it grow up. So please consider getting that lung cancer screen. And if you're interested, you can just call 1-800-EINSTEIN and ask for the lung department, the pulmonary department, and they will get you in touch with a person named Tracy Kane, who does the lung cancer screening. Or you can ask your primary care doctor just to refer you to the program. You don't have to be a patient of Einstein. You don't have to ever have been there before. You can just get the free lung cancer screen no matter where you are in the city.
Pretty neat, pretty neat. Now, when it comes to the lungs themselves and how they look for somebody who's been smoking for years and somebody who's not, my husband about a week ago or so, he said, come look at this, look at this. It was on Facebook. And somebody had posted a picture of a healthy lung, which was red and pink looking in color. And the lung with the cigarettes was like gray and black and ugly. I mean, horribly ugly. And it didn't indicate on the picture how long the person with the bad lungs had been smoking or whatever, but I just feel like pictures like that should be put on cigarette packs, and you know, that should be put on billboards all over town.
Well, there's warnings on the labels
Yeah,
that
but
say
people don't read.
they don't read
They
those
don't.
either. So
Look
they
at
probably
the picture. Look at
pictures
the
worth 1,000
picture.
words. But you know, you
Yes.
can liken it to a brand new fireplace that's nice and clean and hasn't been stained,
Gotcha.
to a fireplace that has lots of soot.
ugly.
And so for people who smoke, within 7 years of stop smoking, your lungs can go back to being pink and being more healthy. You can't wait till you have cancer, but 7 years, that's not very long. For people who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, you can have benefit at any age. Even in the 60s, even in the 70s, you can have benefit of stop smoking at any age. But within 7 years, your lungs can rid
That's
of
good to
that
know.
soot.
Well, I am 4 years clean now from smoking cigarettes.
So awesome.
And I'm so glad. That's one of the best things I ever could have done in my life. It was a stupid, stupid, stupid habit to start in the first place. I'm embarrassed to even tell anybody. And I was embarrassed the whole time I smoked because I was a closet smoker. So many people who are watching this show right now who know me, Vera smoked? People didn't even know, because I would, you know, do it at night. I'd do it under cover of dark out on my porch in the backyard. Puffing on a cigarette was stupid. And I used to say, well, you got to die of something. Stupid. You know, you don't want to die of that. You don't want to die of that.
It has,
miserable.
And
Miserable.
not only does it increase your risk of cancer, as we talked earlier, it can increase your risk of heart disease, diabetes. It causes inflammation, so it damages the inside lining of your blood vessels from your eyes to your toes. So people have circulation problems, heart problems, kidney problems, erection problems, all kinds of problems that stop smoking can decrease.
Yeah. And now the cold turkey part. Some people say, oh, that's, how do you go cold? You can't. If you're mad enough, you can. And so what happened was I was smoking a cigarette in my new car that I had just gotten. And my husband had said that when we got married that the smoking thing was a deal breaker and I had to give it up anyway. And I lied and said, okay, I'll give it up, and I didn't. And so now I'm going to sneak and smoke in the car, right? And I threw the cigarette out the window and kept driving. If I had my back window open because I was trying to air out the car because I didn't want my husband to fuss at me. Well, the cigarette came back in.
Wow.
I threw it out, the cigarette came back in. So it's on the back seat of my leather, on my seat of my car, burning a hole in the car. I'm driving along. I don't notice anything because the windows are down. I'm trying to get smoke.
Right. Well, thank goodness
So,
you didn't catch on fire.
Really and truly, but I tell you, that's what did it for me. And when I saw that I burnt a hole in this car that I had had for about 2 weeks, I was so angry with myself. I took those cigarettes, and I had just bought a pack. I broke them all up, and I threw them down the toilet. I said, that's it, I'm done. And I meant it.
Well, good for
So
you.
it took something crazy like that to happen to me for me to get
Right.
mad enough to say, I'm
Right.
through with this.
Right.
But whatever it took, I'm glad
Right.
because it was a nasty habit.
Well, even for those people who don't have something like that happen to them, and they may even want to continue to smoke, you have to know in your mind that you're going to be so much healthier. And even if you have to use the patch or one of the
I've
other
had friends
sleep
who've
aids.
done the thing that they put on their ear. Is that the patch?
Well, no, the nicotine
Okay,
patch.
okay,
The
but I've
nicotine
seen
patch.
people put
That's
something
like
on their
the
ear
scopolamine
And
patch.
they stop smoking. So whatever it takes, whatever works
Whatever
for you.
it takes, you're going to be healthier, you're saving money, you're decreasing your risk of so many different disorders. So even if you have to use a little bit of a crutch, we encourage you to. We encourage you to.
All right. Well, a final word in 30 seconds or less you want to give to our audience?
Well, as always, I want people to think about how to be healthier. It doesn't just happen. We have to make conscious changes in our diet and exercise and even how we treat others and ways to reduce stress. That's something that, we all can work on. So try to be healthier. Make an effort because it's going to make a difference in how you feel.
And it can work. I know it's true. Drink lots of water and exercise. Get up off your duff and you will start feeling better because it's been working for me. I'm telling you. Honest to goodness. We want to thank you for checking us out on this edition of News You Can Use. I want to thank Rita Jefferson, our president of the Philadelphia Licensed Tavern Merchants Association, for joining us and talking about how they raise money for scholarships for our young people and for all the positive things that happen at LaSalle TV. You want to keep your dial locked right here. Thanks, Dr. Donnie, for being with us again.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day, everybody. Be safe.